All right, hello and welcome to the official start of the, Ask Aviator podcast episode number 45. We're here on our live stream and podcast. Another week, another adventure. Really just so grateful to be able to spend some time with you guys on these Tuesday nights. For those of you guys who have been asking when these will be uploaded to our standard podcast aggregator, that's my fault, guys. We hired a new video guy. He was supposed to do it, and then I kept him way too busy since like December. So I'm joined by my wife. Look. Hi, this is Nell. For those of you guys who don't know her, Nell is pretty awesome. She was putting kids down. So it just didn't happen, and that's on me. And I finally figured out how to do most of it, and so I tried to work on it today, and I failed. So I will continue to work on it. I promise. But huge hello and welcome to Paramotor Crazy, Ripman Riding, Craig Taylor, Jim Sierra 120. We've got Johnny Wisconsin in here. Good to see you, Johnny. Always a pleasure. Bob Blitheract, Tom Wedgersk. Let's see who else we have. Tim Lukowski was talking in the chat before this started about how he wants to train at Aviator, but he lives in Pennsylvania. Very excited to announce that we are at 99% certain, 98.9% certain that we're going to be having a class in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, August 22nd. Aviator alumni, it'll be Aviator instructors, Aviator equipment, Aviator syllabus. It's Aviator on the road. So we're looking to do this at other places as well. If you're looking to be trained and you're really excited about it, if you have like 6-8 friends that want to get trained with you, let us know where, and we will do our best to be there. So let's see. Man, there's so many good peoples. So many good peoples in the house tonight. Vertical Lines, Brian Waller, great to see you guys. Truly a pleasure. If anyone's looking for the best Starn foot cam mount on the market, Johnny Wisconsin sells it. So it's for like a GoPro. It's really cool. It's very nice. I wish I could find mine. I should probably find mine eventually. Yeah. That'd be cool. So tonight's show is a little bit different than what we've done in the past. We wanted to do something new. We wanted to do something that was exciting. We wanted to do something that would be at least a little bit entertaining for you guys. And I want to encourage you all, before we get into the content, to please save your questions. I will definitely be taking questions toward the end. But tonight's going to be a little bit of fun. So if you will, hop on Facebook, hop on Twitter, hop on Instagram, share that you're watching this right now. Maybe some more people, some new people will come and join us, and we'll get to have a new adventure. Feel free to like the video. We already have 2 dislikes before we even started. It was pretty exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that we're really...
It's a new something.
It's a new something.
Is it a high or a low?
I don't know. But Leah Catullo's here, and she'll ask you if you want to see what's underneath her pants.
She will. I probably already know.
It's probably tie-dye leggings. Just fair warning.
Probably so. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Leah. I hope you're doing well. I know you've been working hard throughout this whole COVID thing, and I know that... I just want you to know that the entire Paramotor community stands behind you, and we're proud of you. So thank you. She says hello to me and my whole lot better half. Thanks, Leah.
Well.
All right, so I've heard a couple reports that I need to mumble louder. If that's true, I can turn the gain up on the microphone. But I got word from my good friend Dave, and he says it's perfect. And Dave runs a podcast.
Dave knows what's up.
I kind of feel like we should trust him. So tonight's plan is to do something different. Last week, or the week before, there was someone who posted on Facebook in the Paramotor group, and he is looking at different places to get trained, and he asked a very important question. He said, anyone who's trained at Aviator Paramotor or Aviator PPG, what was your experience? And my God, guys, the responses were incredible. There were so many of our past alumni who had come together, who had experienced this. I just thought it was incredible. I thought it was the coolest thing possible to be able to hear from them. Like, I sat there and read them, and I won't lie, I got a little tear in my eye. I was like, this is really cool. Like, it's what we've been trying to do is we've been trying to create a family. We've been trying to create great skills. We've been trying to create people who are ambassadors for the sport. And we've done this for over 8 years now, and it apparently is working. So if you guys didn't get a chance to watch that or read those comments, but you want to hear more about what it was like to train at Aviator, we're going to do something we've never done before. And that is simply, normally when we make a video that's like a testimonial video that talks people through like what we do, you know, what people's experience was, we get to film it and edit it. And we want to get away from all that hogwash. We want to be able to share like completely raw. So if someone might come in here and blast us, that's very possible. I would, it's definitely possible. Hopefully that's not what happens tonight, but it is possible. So, but we're going to bring in a few different students. I just put out the invitation. For those of you guys who don't know, every Monday night, if you are a past Aviator alumni, you get an invite to a Zoom call. And on that call, we basically just reconnect. And most nights there's between 50 and 70 people on the call. Last night I think there were 48. And it's a really special thing. It's continuing education. It's an opportunity to connect in a crazy world that we live in today. It's as much as I love you guys on Tuesdays, I think that Mondays are my favorite. Because it's like
Mondays are a lot of fun.
Oh my God, 2 weeks ago, because yesterday we didn't get to be on the whole call, but 2 weeks ago, I was smiling and laughing so hard, my face started getting a cramp, and it hurt for hours afterwards. Like hours.
Oh, it's good times.
So we're going to bring in some students to let them share their experiences on Zoom. I want to answer a quick question I got here from Slow Days. I heard that Ozone wings are okay with brakes in all trim settings. That is true, to my knowledge, on every single wing that Ozone makes except for the Triox. The Triox was designed for maximum speed, so anything past a certain number or certain line, you cannot use your main brakes. That said, I did not know that, and I did it, and we didn't die. It was with you.
Live to tell. Oh, is that what happened?
Do you remember how fast we were going?
Yes, I do.
We did a swoop landing on the trike, like a big 180 J-turn, like just big turn,
It was
dove.
truly thrilling.
It was probably a 300-yard swoop.
But not recommended for general use.
Yeah, I don't recommend that. All right, so I'm going to bring in our first guest. I have to do a couple little... Again, I'm going to show the background here. So I've got an iMac over that way. I got a MacBook Pro here. I've got a Stream Deck, a Tascam. I'm trying to manipulate all this stuff and read a screen that's about 6 feet away. So bear with me.
And we're getting old.
Well, at least my eyes are the only thing that still work on me properly. So I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that.
Your news works pretty well.
I have surgery on Friday.
Oh.
I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah, you did.
He just texted a few minutes ago.
Okay, cool.
Oops. I have a deviated septum apparently, and it's elective surgery. And so we had a date set in April, and Florida shut down elective surgeries, and now they're back up. All right, one of our past students is doing it. Very, very happy. Hey, behind the bunker, good to see you, my friend. All right, Chuck Johnson says I need a recommendation for a new trike. Chuck, what are you flying now? What motor? We have a beautiful Fly Product Zenith, which is a tandem or solo trike. It's beastly and it has no engine on it, so it's a really affordable option in stock right now, which is great because we've been waiting for Fly Products to reopen and Italy to reopen for so long that like we have so many motors stuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Waiting.
We'll talk about it, Dave. I don't know. We've been kind of keeping it just Aviator folks, but you're basically one of us. You're basically one of us. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up. I got to get some settings changed really quick on the audio on Zoom. Let's see. This needs to be muted. It's going to make it...
I'm so glad you know what you're doing because this is just Greek to me.
All right. So somebody made a comment earlier that I have AirPods. Yes, I have AirPods. My wife bought them for me for Christmas or birthday. Birthday?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
They're so close together. I do all the shopping at the same time.
So I've got these in. The plan is it's muted there. We should be able to...
In theory.
Unmute here. Two different computers. I should be able to let Craig and Derek and Leanne. I messed this up. Unmute here. Mute here. Now I should be able to hear them. They're connecting to audio right now. So once they connect to the audio, let's see. I'll stop video here so it's not freaking people out.
Ericception.
Yo, yo, yo. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear you. Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
We can
Okay,
hear Craig.
awesome. So let me get Zoom caller on.
Dun, dun, dun,
Look at that. Look at that. There's so much technology happening right now, guys.
So proud. So proud right now. Way beyond me.
This is exceptional. So I think there's probably 5 more people who are going to show up for sure. And any other students of Aviator that want to be invited to this, that have like something you guys want to share about your experience, whether it's Eric Sheridan or whoever else is in here who wants to share your experience, I would love to have you guys jump in. I'd love to have you guys just join us. So send me a message, whether it's iMessage or Facebook or whatever, email, and I will be happy to send you guys an invite. So without further ado, Leanne's the prettiest on the screen aside from her. So I've
already been introduced, so
yeah.
It's Leanne's turn.
You guys can't hear them. Let's see why that is. Can you guys talk for a minute?
There it is.
This is accurate. This is accurate. Let's do this really quick. If you guys heard them talk, let me know, because I don't want to create the echo thing again. There's about a 30-second delay, usually, because streams take time.
Yeah.
So hopefully this works.
Waiting and waiting. We're going to see what happens.
Did you guys hear them? Let us know.
Great.
I'm wondering if they hear you now. All right. Well, I can add an audio capture, and it might very well totally mess this up again, because it did with Tucker. I hear you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I can hear Derek and Leanne and Craig. All right. They're not muted on their end. I just need to get this set up real quickly, guys. Apologies. Cancel. I don't know why. Again, I'm trying to read something from very far away.
So in the meantime, how's everyone's Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo? Fun stuff. I have a pineapple jalapeno margarita that I'm thoroughly enjoying.
Echo now. Now they have an echo.
Oh.
I can hear you guys perfectly, so hang on. No, I hear you guys beautifully. So somebody said they couldn't hear you, but I can hear everybody.
Yeah, we unmuted the stream on the laptop and we could hear everybody in the Zoom chat. But
yeah.
Everybody else says
Paramotor Crazy says you can't hear. Echo, no echo, echo gone. So we're good. That's all that matters. Guys, that's literally all that matters. Can Craig be heard? Craig is a mute. This says they're getting there. Okay,
good
cool.
call.
So as long as it works, I'm freaking happy. Turn their volume up. Bubba, hang on. I have to turn their volume up? I mean, I can turn my volume down. You guys can turn it louder. All right, well, I'll turn ours down. We're quieter now. So hopefully this works. Kelby says no. Guys, I'm really sorry. This is the problem with trying to do things. I hear them through your mic. Can't hear anyone but Eric. Can't hear the guests, but super quiet. All right.
How fascinating.
All right, I'm just turning this way down. You guys can turn up your freaking... if you got to turn up your computers, feel free. Derek and Leanne, talk. Say bananas. They don't want to say bananas. Bananas.
I think she's frozen.
Don't turn down. If you're able to turn up your volume, I am in the midst of trying to do the same. All right, I just turned you up. Go ahead and talk a little more, Craig.
Why don't you let's just get the headphones and you do this on your own, because it's the AirPods that are causing the problem, right?
That's not the AirPods. I'm trying, man. Yeah, they still can't hear you. So last week we had issues with an echo, and this week we have issues with this. I'm so confused, guys. I'm sorry. All right, Derek and Leanne left. So
They were kicked out, is what he said on YouTube stream.
we didn't kick them out. Take off the earbuds. All right, so if I do this, you guys aren't going to be able to hear anything. We're not going to be able to hear them, so I will have to do the headphones.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying.
But I wanted you here with me.
That's okay.
All right.
That's what I was trying to say, is just do that way.
All right, well, hang on, Craig, 1 second. Let me get headphones plugged in so I can hear something. What a pain.
Share one.
This is the problem with trying to do technology, guys. If you guys don't know, we are trying to hire a filmmaker. So anybody who, this is what pre-shows are for. Yeah, Eric, it's true, except that then I have to do this for longer. So
Welcome to the pre-show, everyone.
yeah, welcome to the pre-show, guys. All right, let's see if this is working. Craig, can you hear me? I can't.
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you too. Cool. Team, people watching, they can hear. So it was the damn AirPods. All this time, the AirPods broke it. I'm on a Mac. Guys, this should work. What the devil?
I'm not telling all those secrets I just told again, though, so the viewers will have to miss that part.
What a bummer. What a bummer. All right. So, guys, I apologize. We don't need someone who knows computers and audio, Bino. I need someone who knows video, computers, and audio. And then I will be happy to trade you free training because all of our employees get trained for free, as well as fixed-wing flight training if they want them, as well as everything else. So, really, David Nickerson, you just need to move to Florida because it's happening, and it's not like you're working at Harvard anymore. So let's see. Derek and Leanne, feel free to join back in. We'd love to have you. But let's talk a little bit about Craig. I'm going to jump this over so that we can see him. Craig, tell us about your training.
Oh, yeah. The training I was signed up for in January of 2019, and at the time there was quite a lengthy waiting list to get to Aviator at XO7. At the time, Lake Wales was the only school. The Denellen was maybe a thought, but not a reality yet. Anyhow, the in the team staff and had heard about the Resurgence program, and being a single leg amputee myself due to a careless automobile accident to the fault of somebody else's carelessness, I lost the leg. And reaching out to Aviator and hearing about the Resurgence program, I asked that they get in contact with Resurgence and find an amputee to join me in that training slot, and we would sponsor them. Of course, it seemed like a small gesture on my part, but it ended up being more than anybody expected. So time came, we got to Lake Wales, rented a fifth wheel, and stayed right at the airport campground for 2 weeks, me and my wife, and went through training with fantastic instructors and locals. Staff there is amazing. I mean, you know, a lot of people in the chat and that watch are pilot, be past or future students, but you know, I don't think at the time before training, when you hear that, you know, this will be a life-changing event or adventure, it kind of seems a little bit cliche, but it really isn't. It is such an amazing opportunity to be able to fly paramotors and to meet these people and the community in a whole. It's just awesome.
It really is. And I want to kind of tap in a little bit here because we get this weird email from this guy, and it's this guy who's like, "Hi, my name's Craig. I'm from this weird island called Nantucket, and I want to sponsor a resurgence candidate, but they have to be missing a leg, and I want to train with them ASAP." And I kind of look at the email and I'm like, "What? Like, what? You want to spend all this money to pay for someone else to go through training?" And then I finally got to the point where you said that you had one leg also, and I was like, "Oh, he's only got." I kind of get it. And we didn't ask. I don't think we asked how you lost your leg, but we assumed it was a veteran thing because you wanted to support a veteran, and we were kind of blown away. So like we called Todd and we're like, "How do we get this going? And we got it put together, and we had the most incredible experience. And I have to say, like, as an instructor, I was so intimidated to teach not just one-legged guy, which I taught a one-legged guy before, Tommy Cunahan. And like, he did an amazing job, but we had months together. And he learned to trike first, flew the trike a ton, and then he learned a foot launch. And I was like, man, like it was intimidating, But you two ended up being two of the best students in the class.
It's, there's a certain drive behind, I think that, for lack of a better term, there's an extra kick in our ass since there's maybe the lack there of that other foot. So, and we try to make light of those things as well. But so growing up, as a younger kid, I grew up outside of the gate, so the west gate of the Westover Air Force Base in Chicopee, Mass, which is the home of the 459th wing of the C-5A Galaxy. And if some of the people out there have never seen a C-5A Galaxy,
it's a beast.
Look it up. It is the biggest cruise ship to ever fly the skies. I mean, these things, like, you can hear those Boeing engines from miles away. There's such a distinct sound. It's like almost hearing, the difference between a motorcycle coming down a freeway and a pack of Harleys. That's how distinct they are. There's such a difference. But I was conditioned as a kid to go through the Civil Air Patrol and a long line of, higher ranking officers through all military branches. And going through the Civil Air Patrol, getting into the ROTC in high school, and moving forward and completing those after high school and before I was getting enlisted. Unfortunately, my life was changed. Just going to work one day, and a vehicle had run a red light and hit me broadside on the left, doing about 50 miles an hour, and I was also doing about 50 miles an hour. So it doesn't take much to do the mathematics there of the impact. I didn't have a chance. So, the doctors gave me the option, do you want to try to save it? This and that. And I had asked the surgeon, waiting for the operating room to open. I said, realistically, what are the probability of, me being able to walk and run if you try to save it? And he said, no. There'll be no way. I said, and if you take it off, he said, you'll be running a year.
That's incredible.
It was true, hardest decision I've ever had to make. But at the time, it was, definitely the right choice. And I was I had just turned 19.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that young.
And Yeah. So, like I said, I was kind of in between finishing ROTC in high school and being enlisted. So it was like right there at that turn point, and I don't regret that decision because I was running within a year. And don't get me wrong, there's challenges involved with being an amputee that, are most of the time kind of forgotten or overlooked because, like I said, we do have a little bit of extra drive behind us.
You got something to prove.
Yeah, we're fighters, right off the bat. So it's been amazing. But while I was in rehab, sitting in there and in a wheelchair and confined to the rehabilitation facility for more of 9 months, I saw something fly over the rehab facility, and I had kind of a little bit of freedom to go outside and wheel around, and they had a pretty large side lawn for visiting and picnic tables and whatnot, and so I would go out there and kind of just sit around. Well, comes this thing flying by. So what is that? Same thing as most people think now. What is that? Well, it was a paramotor, and this is 98, 1998. So there was internet, but it wasn't anywhere near as readily available as it is now. I mean, cell phones.
We had Juno. We had Juno in 1998.
Juno. What was it?
We had Juno email. It didn't have the internet. It had email because the internet was evil, and it wasn't until many years later we got America Online. It was a pretty life-changing, pivotal moment.
Oh yeah, you've got mail. But there was enough that the resources at the rehabilitation hospitals allowed me to kind of look it up, and the nurses there say, oh, that guy flies by every once in a while. He's got to be totally off his rocker. We'll probably see him here someday. I'm willing to bet they never have. But over the 20 years between then and watching videos in the last few, it's really become more known what paramotoring is. I thought about it, forgot about it, thought about it, forgot about it, and said, I said to my wife, I said, I was looking at that nearly 20 years ago. I've got to figure out a way that, I can do that still. And we looked around, made some decisions and some calls, and decided that Aviator was going to be where we're going to go. And I had stopped down there, and I had met you real quick. We actually were there. I own a swim pool company, for those of you that don't know, and we were down in Orlando for the International Pool and Spa Expo and classes, and I had wanted to take a quick ride from Orlando to check out Aviator, and figured, well, I'll bribe a couple of the guys that work for me. Maybe we can do a skydiving, since the skydiving's next door and they'll take the ride. But really, I wanted to go knock on the door of Aviator and find out how I was going to get in there. So the only regret I have, honestly, is waiting 20 years, follow up with it, and to get the proper training and get in the air. It's been amazing. The last couple of years have just been great. The people in the community are fantastic. The camaraderie and the family atmosphere behind it is really great. We ended up buying a house down in Winter Haven, which I consider more of Lake Wales than
You're on the
Winter.
edge. You're on the edge for sure.
Seriously, I mean, I think if we were able to just walk through the back of the cow fields, it's literally Lake Wales. But it's been great, and we miss being down there. We'll be back, obviously, but yeah, like I said, my only regret is waiting 20 years for it. If you're thinking about it, if you're watching as a potential flyer or trying to go and you've just been putting it off because of, money or time or, things in life we all understand are there, but maybe in light of the recent years events, it may be more of a sobering reminder that, don't wait, get signed up and figure out how to make it work. You're not going to regret it.
No. And I think that one of the big things to look at, and we have to look at now in today's day and age, in the world that we live in now, which is really different than the world we lived in January. People are starting to see their mortality. They're starting to see the potential for things going wrong. You have to look forward and say, okay, do I want to exist or do I want to live? And you were given that question when you were 19. Do you want to keep your leg and exist? Or do you want to go through a heck of a lot of trauma, a heck of a lot of pain, a lot of phantom pains for the rest of your life to be able to truly live? And I just have to say, like, I know a lot of amputees now. And I know more of them because of you. And every single one of them has been such an engaging person. If you're having trouble in your life, maybe what you need is to go get your leg chopped off, and it will really help you.
We used to joke about it sometimes. It's say the only mean bone in my body is already in the grave, so the rest of me is pretty good now.
there's a guy that I got to know, and I've continued to follow, and I was very blessed to actually take him out to dinner. And I quote him in my book, which I know you've read. His name is Nick Santadesasso. I totally just butchered that last name. If you guys look him up, actually, if you guys do nothing else but go on YouTube and Google Nick Zombie Prank. So Nick was born with a disorder, which very few people have ever survived. I think he's the only one who's lived to his age. And he was born with one full arm, one half arm, not even quite half, like not to the elbow, one finger, no legs, right? Like he was born with everything against him, like everything against him. And somehow this guy just didn't care. He had his depressive moments. He had the times where he really struggled. But he chose to skateboard, he chose to dance, he chose to play and to laugh and to live life. And one of the cool things about Nick is, like, he ended up going into varsity wrestling in high school with one arm, one leg. I mean, how do you pin the guy, right? Like, seriously. But we met at an EO event that my wife and I went to in Tampa, and we were walking up to the building. And it's a building I've been in many times. It's where they do a lot of trainings and a lot of learning experiences. And it's the Bank of America building. It's like this giant monstrosity. And as we're walking up, I see this guy in a wheelchair with one arm, no legs, with two boxes of books. And they're like above his head. He can't see where he's going. He's being pushed by a friend who became a future student, who's an ex Major League Baseball player. He's been on this show, Slade Heathcott, super good dude. And he's sitting there and he's got these giant box of books. And I'm like, hey, can I help you? And he's like, sure. I'm like, you're here for the EO event, huh? He's like, what gave it away? So we end up going in, and he has this incredible exercise where you go through what you're grateful for. And Nell and I have been going through a lot of personal work, like over the last year and a half. Like we really have, and this quarantine has brought the rest of it, like all the rest of it to light, all the rest of it to the surface. And it's been really, really a lot of work, really, really a big challenge, but it's been the most blessed, like beautiful thing ever. I'm so thankful. Like this last 7 weeks is the most time I've spent with my family in the last 5 years, easily. Like I worked, and when I was teaching, I worked from 5:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. So like this has been amazing. But one of the things he did is he goes through the gratitude exercise of what is it you're most grateful for. And I remember, you close your eyes and there's 250 people in the room. They're all business leaders and people who are like very affluent, very sharp. And the whole room just surges with this energy of this man, this 23-year-old man who has so much that he could say happened to him. And now when I got done and had been right in the thick of all these challenges and going through her abuse that she didn't know about until we went through therapy and all that stuff. And we looked at each other and said, there wasn't one thing. There were too many. It was like a carousel. Like there's so many things that we're grateful for. And it was a really beautiful moment. And somehow we ended up asking him out to dinner, and he and a few other guys, we all went out to dinner, and it wasn't just a speech. Here's a guy with one limb and one finger. And it wasn't just a speech. It was who he is. And I'm pretty sure every waitress at the restaurant tried to pick him up, like not physically, but probably physically too. And it was awesome, man. Like it really was awesome. I'm super, super blessed. And if anybody wants to hear more of his story, I really recommend it. He has a book called Victim to Victor. Victim to Victor. I'll link it in the chat. But Nick's just a really good dude. And anyway, I see that same energy flowing through each of the people that we've been able to be exposed to. We just had one a few weeks ago, Eric. We call him Sky Pirate, who's like 6'7" and an amputee. And dude, the guy was a baller. Like straight up, he was a baller. You got to hang out with him. You'd love him.
Was he in the Leanne and Bakina's class? Because I thought I had seen a couple of glimpses quick and like just out of the corner of the videos, and I was like, huh.
Yes.
Yep. I'm missing all the good times down there being stuck here at work.
Yeah, and he did the whole thing. It was interesting because I got to know Tommy so well because he lived with us for like 6 months. He lived in our shop. Tommy was our first amputee we trained, and he had 6 different legs, one for every activity. I was really intrigued because Eric, Sky Pirate, he used the blade, like the running leg, the whole time and like totally crushed it. So
yeah, I've tried those. They're not for everybody. Some guys I've talked to like them. Personally, I felt like I could, do side flips like a ninja.
I would pay money to watch that happen. Just so you know. Oh my gosh. Well, go ahead.
I'm not sure. Tommy Coonahan, I had seen those videos, and like you said, he spent a lot of time with him, but the having me and Sean Michael go through that program as the resurgent candidate, I hope that really opens the eyes to a lot of other people. Like you say, like when you try to think of one thing, it just like, and the harder you think, the more start coming in. And I mean, honestly, I would have been ecstatic to see you guys fill that class with all amputees. I don't think you guys would know what to do with
I think that needs to be a goal. So we have an all girls class in October, and I think we need to have an all nothing but freaking amputee class. I'm all for it. I'm all freaking for it. That would be amazing. Like legitimately, that would be amazing.
That would be awesome. And even since I won't take up all the time because I'd love to hear from Derek and Leanne here as well, and John. But even you have had a couple of people reach out to you since, I won't say his name, but he's in the chat as capital D, capital P. A quick shout out to him, but he's also an amputee and he's interested in, as of the last time I spoke to him on the phone, his biggest challenge was trying to get his wife to give him clearance to take off. And by the pun that's intended there is, I think there's some reservations and some fears to, maybe they know us, back at home, meaning she knows him and is afraid to let him take the risks to go fly. I really hope that there's a way that we can convince her that it is very, very safe and encourage the both of them to go through the training. I mean, Yolanda came down with me. She stayed in the fifth wheel. I mean, she was a champ. She was out there in our training helping videotape so that we could do the post-flight briefings, and she's sending them to the instructors and to me and to the TV in the classroom so that we could review afterwards. And I think that people like DP and his wife that may have reservations should at least take a chance and maybe a weekend to just kind of, if they're not able to go through the training,
come watch.
Go and spend some time there and see how it is. And maybe from an outsider's perspective, they'd be able to see even more clearly than some of the rest of us as to the changes that happen so fast over those few days. And of course, a 2-week training would be, even better. But
that was one of the things I wanted to bring up, was the fact that it's not just about learning to fly. It's about looking at your limitations, not as limitations, but as opportunities. When Tommy landed from his first foot launch flight, and the video's up on our channel, if you guys want to look up one-legged paramotor training, it's on our YouTube channel. He landed and he walks up to me. He goes, "I can do anything."
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh my God, what a feeling. Like, what a feeling. That feeling to me, watching him say that and feel that, it was watching him overcome his fears. And like in the last video that I posted of the Palm Bay fly-in, I said at the end, I said that life begins where fear ends. It's and like for DP's wife, if you're listening, which I think, yeah, she just said that she is, I should live in fear. All right. I have broken my back twice. I've had major physical issues my whole life. But I refuse. I refuse to do that. And I've been placed on this planet to try to encourage others to live beyond their fear, because life's about the dash. I was born in 1986. I'm going to die at some year. But whatever happens in that dash between them on my tombstone is what freaking matters. And while I have made a ton of massive mistakes and I have hurt people and I've done things, I've never done that purposely. And I will always work to try to do more good. So, DP, we'd love to have you, brother. That would be amazing. Like, please come. We need more one-legged flyers, man. We really do.
If I get the chance and I'm passing through his area on the way, and there's a place to take them for a tandem ride, and hopefully get them bit with the bug, if that needs to be the last push, I'm more than willing to make that stop and time commitment.
I love it. And that's the kind of thing that we all need to do for each other. That's how we grow. It really is. All right. I wanted to ask you one more question. I don't know what the best way to play this question is. Let's see.
Don't sugarcoat it now.
No. What was the most challenging thing about training, and what was the biggest thing that surprised you in a positive way with your training?
Oh, what was it? No, The biggest challenge about training, man, I had waited so long, and I was ready, I'd done all my research and as much homework as I could and tried to be familiarized with as much as I could. And as much as all of that helped, nothing compared to being able to sit in a structured and laid out program. And the syllabus that you guys have created and lined up for students, especially for beginners that, have never flown or aren't aviation buffs from Cessnas or Cirruses or SR-22s or whatever it might be. But even to the more advanced people or the ones that have got training at other places that may have been less than what was necessary, to go through the syllabus that you guys have laid out and outlined is just an amazing thing. It really, not to sound like a commercial or a plug, because it is, I'm being so honest, it is so structured and laid out that you're gonna walk in not knowing what you don't know and leaving safe and educated with what you need to be able to be safe and not become a statistic. I don't know if that answered the question at all. It might have been a little off track, but
it's acceptable.
The biggest challenge I had was our particular class. It wasn't the greatest of weather, and the first thing that we learned was para waiting, and boy, are we the best at para waiting.
It's good. Given where you live, we were just trying to make it feel more like home.
Oh, where I live, I think I could take the high wind ratings from the USPPA without any problem, because I mean, if I get a day that's under 10, I'm definitely dropping what I'm doing and going, because the average wind speed out here is at least 15. If it drops to 15, 17, that's like, let's go. We're not going to get it again, because it's normally 35 to 50. So, I mean, we take advantage of anything below 20. I mean, obviously 20 is a little bit rough, but anywhere below 15, we're taking it.
I had an experience flying the beach with my brother. We went out with a couple of our students and some friends, actually 3 of our students, and we took one of their boats out to the sandbar, and it was 29 gusting 29, and it was like perfectly laminar off the ocean. It was beautiful. It was one of those like times that you pray for, and we got the motor out, we assembled it. We're on this tiny, skinny, like it's just wide enough for the wing and me, and the line's tight, right? Like there's a tiny sandbar. And I turned the switches off. I was flying an electric start rodeo, and I had my brother hug the prop. You see where this is going. So he's like hugging the prop, and we pull the wing up, and we get dragged all the way across the sandbar into the dirt, into the water on the other side. The wing's overhead. And I cobraed it up and everything. Like it was done decently. I had so much fun. It was because it was so smooth. And we flew an air show at Sun and Fun a couple years ago last year, that was 23 gust 24 with thunderstorms in the background. But it's just, that wasn't fun. That was not fun at all. That was work. And after about 6 minutes, I was like, all right, guys, we're landing. And of course, we have Javi up high. And he's like, it is smooth here. I do infinity. And we're like, land, Javi, land. All part of the challenge. All right. I'm going to bring Derek and Leanne in because they've been waiting the longest. And we've got Jonathan Kaiser in here. We had a few other guys. I know Dave was going to join us. He was here for a minute and then left. I don't know if he'll come back. You and I took longer than I planned, but I think 20 minutes of it or so was audio issues. So It
Well,
happens.
it's always a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to hearing from Derek and Leanne and Jonathan and the rest of the folks. So let's
Well,
do it.
I want to remind you and everybody else that anyone who sends someone to Aviator for training, we have class spaces available in June. Anyone who sends someone, in fact, we have one class space available May 30th in Lake Wales. Send someone here. We will give you $200 in Aviator bucks for anything we have in stock. So you're going to finally be that one wheel, one leg guy, right?
And we can bank those, right?
You can bank them. In fact, we have a couple people who have a whole lot banked that I keep looking at and going, please don't use them.
Only 18 referrals gets you a wing.
That's right. That's right. Oh, man. Eric Sheridan says, I need more bandwidth. There's lag. Sorry, guys. We're at home. We have 15 up and 150 down. It's all I can do, and I'm pumping 5 megs out. So it should work. Sorry if it doesn't. All right. Let's see. It's still working on my screen. I can still see us talking. You're smiling, so that's a win. All right. Derek and Leanne. Thank you, Craig, for coming on, brother.
Absolutely, my friend. Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Always a pleasure, my friend. All right, Derek and Leanne.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
You're one of the only couples we've ever trained. We've only trained a few couples.
Weak. Couples should want to do this.
I mean, actually, I had this conversation today. There's a guy, I don't know if anyone else watches him. He runs a YouTube channel called Genius Garage, and I found him through VenWiki, which is like this just great YouTube channel if you want to listen to something in the background while you're working. It's just all car stories, and like I like cars. And this guy told a story about buying a Dodge Viper in a small town in Ohio, and how basically everyone in town, he was the only person with like a supercar in this town, and it was hilarious. And it ends with him crashing it, and then I discovered that he was helping college students build cool stuff, and including a BD-5, a SOP with Camel, like airplanes. He's not a pilot, so I reached out to him. I was like, "Do you want to fly?" And he called me today, and he's like, "Yeah." And then he told me that he was watching the videos last night, and his wife was watching with him, and she's like, "Can I fly too?" I was like, "Yep," because flying with your wife is the best experience possible in marriage with your clothes on.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah. So
We have yet to do it in PA.
you were supposed to tonight. I didn't think I was going to see you guys tonight.
Tonight was almost a night.
We have an explanation for it.
We're trying to be nice about it, but go to Aviator, get your training.
Absolutely. Don't go to just any old. Go to Aviator because I saw firsthand tonight what it was all.
Oh, they froze. Oh, they're so frozen. No. Look at that face, though. Leanne's face is fire, dude. Like, I feel bad saying that. I think they're gone. We'll press pause on Derek and Leanne. We're going to put a thumbtack in the conversation of what it was all about, which is what she was about to say. And we're going to bring Jonathan in. I feel super bad. They just totally froze. All right. Jonathan Corndog Kaiser, rhymes with laser, is in my phone forevermore as Jonathan Kaiser, PPG student 19, don't answer. It's Jonathan Corndog Kaiser, don't answer. It's I got to be very specific. Jonathan,
hey guys.
I love you.
I love you too.
Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on. I'm sorry I joined a little late, but I have a very, very good excuse. I actually got to go flying tonight.
Oh, my boy. Nice.
Yeah, and it was stunning. I got New York City skyline with Verrazano Bridge in the background, Staten Island in the background, Coney Island in the background. I've got Raritan Bay stretched out underneath me, Sandy Hook on the horizon. What a stunning flight!
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty freaking jealous. Like, I really want to fly there. Like, that's
Eric, actually, it's actually ridiculous how beautiful Jersey gets such a bad rap, and I love it because nobody actually knows just how freaking beautiful it is.
So
It's actually,
I lived in Jersey. I lived in Maplewood, right on the outside of Newark, and I have to say it may get a bad rap, but it's well freaking deserved. What a crud hole it was. I was there November through February or March one year when I turned 21. So this is 13 years ago. I spent the day in New York City on my 21st birthday. It was my first time there. Fabulous experience. But I wouldn't wish that place on my worst enemy.
yeah, I tell it it's like anywhere else on the planet, right? You got your beautiful spots, and then you got your crummy spots. Unfortunately, Jersey's known for one of the most exposed crummy spots, Newark, which is right across the Hudson. That's all New Yorkers see and smell when they look across the Hudson is Newark. That's the frame of reference for Jersey, and it's ugly.
It is. So let's jump in because now we have Dave has joined us. I think that Leanne and Derek are rejoining us. Let's talk a little bit about your experience. How'd you find out about Paramotors? First off, that Arkansas accent is not fooling anyone. We all know where you're really from. He's from South Africa, and I cannot do a South African accent or an Australian. Don't ask; it's painful. I can do it after Luscious Lucian pours me a shot in a 4-cup measuring cup. Then I have the ability to do it poorly. But walk us through your story. Like, walk us through what you have gone through, what your experience has been, etc.
You know what? In preparation for this, I hope this works. I apologize in advance for my stupid webcam auto-focusing in and out, but hopefully you can see this. This is circa 2002. Okay.
That's awesome, man. That's a Walker jet.
That is circa 2002. Ladies and gentlemen, please observe the freaking size of this thing. Okay.
They were so heavy.
And at the time I had back issues. So my wife, being as supportive as which she is, I have the best wife on the planet. I'm like, babe, let's take a trip up to Vermont. Let's go. There's a powered paragliding instructor up there. Let's just go check this thing out. So we go up there. I take one look at that thing, and I'm like, this is not happening.
Same story.
No way is this happening. Anyway, I don't give up. A couple of years later, I find an amazing paragliding instructor on Long Island. The guy's phenomenal. French man. What a lovely guy. Problem is, he wants you to learn how to paraglide before you can power paraglide. And guess what you do? Guess what you spend the majority of your time doing when you're learning how to paraglide? You spend a lot of time waiting. Yes, which is a quandary, a catch-22, because this is exactly why I want to learn how to power paraglide. This is why internal combustion engines were developed. So we can create so that we have our own source of thrust. We don't have to wait for wind. Anyway, spent time with him. Then I backed off because I got scared. I got scared. I was worried about my back. Went back a few years later, spent some more time with him, spent more time waiting, backed off. And then lo and behold, I discover this little school called Aviator PPG.
Never heard of her.
Looked at just how well things were being done and how structured the whole thing was. So I signed up. I think I was on a waiting list. I bugged Mary. I had to sit in I would have bugged her every day, but I realized I was I wasn't going to get very far doing that. So I backed off to about every second week. I asked her to keep updating me where I was on the list. And then eventually she was able to put me in, and I couldn't believe it. So get on an airplane, fly down to Lake Wales, and what I tell everybody, it's funny when you're flying at the beach, you've constantly got people walking up to you going, "What the hell is that?" And I tell them, guys, the only place to get this done, if you're serious, is to go down to Lake Wales, Aviator, PPG. They have 2 schools. They need 2 weeks. You really don't need to know much, but by the time you're done, you will leave a safe and competent pilot, and you'll be able to do what you saw me doing today. That's what I tell them.
Well, I will say this, because on our website for a while it was listed wrong. It said that you had to stay for 2 weeks. You don't have to stay for 2 weeks. Like, we'd like for you to stay for 2 weeks because the weather might be crappy, and it's worth the investment of time. So you don't have to lose the practice that you did. If you can stay for 8 days or more, we can make it work, but we can't guarantee you're going to leave with the flights because you might have bad weather. I mean, we had a class, I believe it was in January, where we had, I believe it was 11 days of terrible weather, 11 or 12 days. And like basically everyone's trained, ready to tow, simulator, like they're doing the simulator in the freaking rain basically. And it was terrible, but they ended up getting all their flights done in the last 2.5, 3 days of the class. And that's why we have the time limit. And it's not that you have to stay. It's that 2 weeks is how long our instructors are available to you. And that's longer than almost any other school because we want to make sure that we serve you well. We want to make sure that you have a really good experience. Yeah.
So I'll tell you right off the bat what I absolutely loved about the experience is just how things were structured. I know I keep saying that, but it was structured so well and so methodical. There were no surprises. You were given just enough, to deal with what you were learning right there and then, and what you learned right there and then prepped you for the very next step, right? So that the next step did not freak you out, and you learn that, and then you take it to the next step. So right along you start in the beginning, and you are literally handheld and stepped through the whole process until you actually run into the sky.
I think that we don't bring this up enough because, to me, the more important focus is on developing the community and really enforcing the community and enforcing like the education, all that stuff like that. That's become second nature. Like that's become just what we do because we've done it for 8 years. And like we really, I was super blessed because I came from a flight instruction background. I was teaching ultralights in 2002, right? So like I've been teaching for a long time. Then I went into a marketing business where I was speaking on stage and I was developing classroom stuff for downloaded videos and that kind of thing, like for many, many years. So I've been teaching my whole life, right? Or at least my whole adult life. But then I got so blessed because I had Travis join us. And Travis was a Coast Guard instructional pilot who developed the entire Costa 235 manual, which is like a 1,200 page binder, right? This thing's massive. And then John Isley joined us, and he brought his Marine background and his CFI background and was able to add so much more to it. And then Chris joined us, and good God, the stuff that Chris brought, sometimes it feels like a fight, and like there have been shouting matches in Aviator's Red Shop when there aren't students there. There have been shouting matches about how you hold the brakes, right? Like, how are we going to teach them to hold the brakes? This works best. This works like. I'm not proud of that. I haven't usually been the one shouting, but we get animated because we care so much about doing it right.
Passion.
And like, it's a deep passion, not just a deep passion for like safety and for the familial aspect, but it is so imperative to us to teach in the way that works best. Like every Friday, the school directors from Lake Wales and Denellen and our training director, Chris, get together and they have a meeting about what's worked that week at Denellen, what's worked that week at Lake Wales. What are they doing differently? What are they testing? Because now we have the opportunity to A/B split test exactly what works and what doesn't at a scale that no other school can do. Because this year we'll train over 200 pilots in 1 year, right?
Well, yeah.
It's like we're passionate.
I'll tell you that passion bleeds through. It bleeds through in the entire experience. From day one where you sat down and you tell your story about what got you to that point, right? And you get to hear your teammates' experience and what got them there, and that family, that whole family look and feel. It was incredible. And then I think about, and I'm not sure if this is, I may be getting you into trouble here, but we had a ridiculous ratio of instructors to students. And then in addition to the instructors, we had a bunch of fanboys rocking up for the first week. So we just had like instructors and people wanting to help get you to learn how to do this amazing thing called Paramotor, right?
Well, that's the best part about what we have built here is that there are 500-600 past students who come back.
Yeah.
That want to come back. They want to be a part of this. And one of the things that I really enjoy is the fact that we get to share the experience of new students, get to experience the past experience from previous students constantly. We're going to have, we always have a 2-to-1 plus 1 ratio. So if we have 8 students, we want 5 instructors minimum. And generally it's 5 to 6 for 8 students. Plus then we have people like Woody. We have our friends who come back and they help a lot. That they're employees of Aviator, but they spend 2.5-3 weeks a month at Aviator just being a part of the experience. And that's so freaking special. Like I can't say enough for how our like we talk about the Aviator family and like how it's a big deal. Like you can speak to that. You've been on vacation with us. What's the Aviator family like?
It's incredible. Before we even talk about that, I just want to comment on what you just said. That people just rocking up to volunteer time, that doesn't just happen.
No,
that does not just happen. In fact, I can't really think of anything else right now that pops up to the top of my head about where that happens. So that speaks volumes about what goes on at Aviator, PPG. I was privileged to join the first Aviator adventure.
You almost killed a 3-year-old. Dude, you never eaten a corn dog before, and you almost killed a 3-year-old because you wouldn't put fuel in your motor because it was too heavy. What the?
Wait. I got to tell the story. So I'm sensitive. I'm sensitive about the amount of weight I put on my back. So at that point in time, I'd never flown with more than 3 liters in my tank. Okay, so I'm handed my rig, okay, with 7 liters. What's Derek?
Derek's showing his back
with 7 liters in it. So I'm like, so we have this whole discussion about, guys, I'm not picking up 7 liters. So I was forced to take 4. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll take 4. So we have this amazing flight. It's the last flight of the day. I decide that I'm flying to the end of the point, which was a 10-minute flight in that direction.
It was a long way away.
It was a long way. In fact, I have it recorded somewhere. At some point, I'll give you the actual mileage. I think it was like, I'm going to be guessing, but like 15 miles or something. Anyway, I fly there. I'm on my way back, and I'm 5 foot off the ground. I'm 50 feet away, and my motor goes. And the best part is happens, I see a father with his daughter in his hands, and I got object fixation because I was looking at them. I was waving when my motor did this, and so I veered towards them and plutzed. Did a fantastic head plant right into the sand. Thank God it was a beach. And as I look up, I say to, because now he's walking over with his daughter. I'm like, dude, just look at my tank. Is there any gas in there? No, I said, I know exactly what's happened. Look at my tank. Is there any gas? He goes like, no. I'm like, yeah, I ran out of gas. And then I got flack from the rest of the guys. They were like, yeah, you ran out of. I was like, no. My fuel consumption calculation was out by literally 30 feet.
30 feet, a crosswind landing on his face in the sand. It was brilliant. And then we got him to eat a corn dog for the first time ever.
Oh,
God, we had so much fun. We had so much fun that weekend. We had one flyable session in 4 days and consumed all of the whiskey on the point and laughed so hard the whole time. It was genuinely a great time.
We had a great time.
Yeah, it was genuinely a great time. All right. Thank you very much, Jonathan. I love you, brother. Glad you're here.
Love you too, man. Thanks for inviting me.
We have to do more of this soon, and we need more stories. So please miscalculate your fuel a little more often. And I'm going to bring Leanne and Derek back because while we stopped at the best possible screenshot, like it was beyond epic. I loved it. I want to know what she was talking about.
What were we actually saying?
I believe the topic was that tonight she got to see why you should go to Aviator because someone didn't.
Well, someone showed up before their instructor, and they gave us about 5 minutes of super awesomeness. And basically, Leanne wanted to like pack up and leave.
Well, first things first. I got my kite out because I was going to kite because the winds were still reverse launch kiteable. And this first time newbie came over to me and decided to tell me which part of my wing I needed to use when he was using a Mojo and I'm using a Spider 3. And he's telling me I'm reverse launching incorrectly. While Derek's standing there next to me and I'm going, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, don't do this to me. Please don't do this to me.
It was a humble moment.
It was a very humble moment.
We love our training.
To say the least. We have much more to say about what happened this evening.
No, we don't
I don't want to, but
I honestly don't want to say anymore.
Yeah, but please go to Aviator and be trained.
Yeah.
Well, I want to tell a bit of your story. So first off, everyone in the chat, everyone watching live, everyone listening later, the guy in this video, not me, you shouldn't hate me, but you should absolutely hate Derek. And not just because he has a beautiful wife and the fact that he's half invisible in his green screen. You should hate Derek because, A, he is ridiculously talented at everything he does, like to the point where you just want like, you want to push him.
I feel that way?
Yeah, you want to push him off the one wheel, right? Like every time he like does something cool, you're like, just shove him off the one wheel, right? Grab his.
It's called being a human.
Yeah, be normal. Awesome. Be normal. But not only
exactly.
You can do this too.
Not only that, but he also won Tucker Gott's first giveaway for free training, so he got free training at Aviator.
That was very good.
Nice.
I'm still a little pissed off about this.
You don't ever win anything ever.
I just want to point out the fact that he did not give that training to you, and he should have.
It's happening.
Now, Leanne was watching this podcast back in March, and we had an empty seat. And I asked her, I said, "Are you free next Saturday?" And Leanne went through the whole first training with Derek, which was awesome. Like the fact that they got to experience that together and that she was sitting there with him, even though she wasn't actively a part of it, you know, she was a part. Oh, they locked up again. No, you're kidding me. This is killing me. I'll finish the introduction. Even though she wasn't actively a part of it, she was awesome. Like she really was. She was engaged, and she went from like being afraid to being empowered and wanting to take this on, and like we all loved her. And so when we had this empty seat, I was like, "Can you come?" And she said yes. And they came down. She went through the training with she and Bikina, so they were partners, and it was so freaking cool. Like it's so freaking cool. And I'll let them tell more of their story soon. But luckily, we have a ringer. and it's Dave Aller who's unmuted and Zoom split. Let's get Dave on the chat. Let's see if I can pin his video. I'm almost not terrible at this.
Eric,
Yes.
love you guys. I love you guys. Dave, I would love to hear your story, guys. I got other commitments. I got to jump.
We see
Anything
how it
else
is.
I can do? Listen to me. Anything else I can do to help you? You got to let me know.
We see how it is.
All right, then. Guys, Dave, take care.
Love you, brother. See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Bye, guys.
Dave, how you doing, brother?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Talk to us about your experience.
Well, the interesting thing was at the alumni call last night, you were talking about a certain post on I think it was Paramotor for Beginners or something like that, and there were some comments made, and needless to say, I didn't comment back because I don't think it was really worth it.
You sent.
But there was a
probably
certain
the
comment made that
best-
said that.
Yeah. Oh, did I kill Dave?
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying you sent probably the biggest blessing
Also
of an
here.
email to me. I loved it. Thank you. I absolutely loved it. Share away.
Thank you. But anyhow, it was talking about the price you have to pay to become a part of the Aviator family, and it kind of upset me a little bit, and that's why I sent you the email, because I'm a family man. I'm a father of 2 great kids. I have a grandson, and my experience with paramotoring was, like I told the story before, I was in Oshkosh in 2016 when the Paradigm team was there for the first time. And I looked at these kids and I'm saying, I can do that, but I don't want to do it that way. And I got to high five a couple of those kids when they came off the field on the flight line there, and then talked to them a little bit later at Oshkosh. And then the bug bit me. 2019, I went back to Oshkosh and I met you. And I said, it's time. And so I went to training in Dunellen. We were the second class in Dunellen at the end of January of this year. And it started off extremely well. I got there a day early. So I went out to the airport and I met with Andrew, and I knew he was just wide open, just trying to get this class going for the next day. But he took his time, okay? And he gave me a tour of the facility. He gave me some expectations of what to expect. So I felt a lot more comfortable the next day. Class started Saturday. We had a great bunch of guys. I mean, it was a family. You could feel the atmosphere between the instructors. They wanted you to succeed, okay? Everything went well. Wednesday we kited. I got my three toes in that, or we kited. Then Wednesday I got my 3 toes in. I left Wednesday night. I went back to my motel, grabbed a whole load of garbage bags full of laundry to drop off the laundromat, went down to go out and get something to eat, and I fell down the motel steps.
Oh, man.
Not from drinking.
This time, danger, Dave.
I tweaked the quad. This time it wasn't from drinking. I tweaked the quad. So I knew that I had to be careful. I told Andrew about it the next morning. He said, take a day off. So I still went out with the field with the guys and helped out all I could. Friday was solo day. Everybody else, all the other students soloed. And Chris came up to me. Chris was there then. And he said, would you just like to just try let's put the wing on you. Let's put the motor on you. Let's just do a taxi and then see what happens. And I said, let's do it. They got me all hooked up and the wing came up perfectly and everything looked good. And I knew I was about 30 feet away from flying. So I just gave her full throttle. And the last step that I made, the quad tore.
Oh, no.
So I knew I was done. So the whole time I was up there, and I had to make a couple circles around because there were some planes in the pattern and stuff like that. I kept thinking, how in the heck am I going to land on my feet? And Chris knew I was certain. He talked me down. The landing, I did not land on my feet, but I landed at a perfect stop. So there was no damage done to me or the equipment. And Andrew came up to me, and the whole team came up to me. They were so excited, and it was, it was a family affair. I have never felt, other than my own family, I have never felt that kind of camaraderie, and to be with these guys for that period of time and get along that well with everybody. I mean, no arguments. No, I've never seen anything in my life, and I'm an old man. Matter of fact, I'll be 66 tomorrow.
Hey, happy birthday, brother.
So, very much. Thank you very much. When I got done with that flight, Andrew came up to me, and he said to me, he says, "Know something, Dave?" He said, "You're a tough old man." And he said, "You just did something superhuman."
Yes. Yes.
And it made me feel so good.
That's what it's all about. Like that's the key.
So I'm sorry?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. We got a little lag between us, so you just keep talking.
Okay. I finished the class. And I never got another flight, but I stayed there the whole time, and I helped out all I could. I wasn't much of a help. I limped, I think, for a week. But anyhow, I got back home from that, and I bought the equipment. So I have everything ready to go. And I emailed you guys, I think about a week ago. I talked to Kristen, and I said, this is the situation. I said, I got one flight in. I said, I've got all the equipment. I want to come back, and I want to finish this straight. And they scheduled me for the end of June.
Heck yes, we did. We
now,
gotta get
no
you
other
finished.
company. Could that happen to? So I am so excited. I'm healthy now. Everything's back in shape. And I can't wait to get back down there to my family, okay, and finish this up.
We can't wait to have you. And I think that's a big part of what we do is we, you mentioned the negative comments about price and whatnot. And yeah, we have a lot more expenses than the average school with one instructor or two instructors. We've got 24 of us now. But it's never going to be about money. It's always going to be about the people. And for us, we just want to create the best experience possible, and we want to share it, and we want to see you guys do something that is superhuman. And we're honored by each and every person who comes through our door and shares their experience, shares their story. It means the world. So thank you, brother. I appreciate it, and your email warmed my heart. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're an hour and a half into this now. Hour and 24 minutes. We have a bunch of people watching live. I would love to welcome Eric Sheridan. Anybody else who would like to share their experience training at Aviator, you're most welcome to come and join me. If nothing else happens, I will be happy to kick this over to an after show, which I will not stop the live stream for this time because people got really grumpy with me last week or 2 weeks ago when I did that. I didn't realize that you guys wanted to have the after show on the actual live stream. My apologies. Eric Sheridan says, I would love to go back and fly at Aviator. Brother, we'd love to have you anytime. Just freaking send us a message. If you're going to come back to Lake Wales, send AJ an email, aj@aviatorppg.com for scheduling. He manages that school, so it's best to schedule with him. If you want to go to Denellen, you can reach out to Andrew. He schedules there. But yeah, absolutely awesome. It looks like There is still an issue with Derek and Leanne's internet. They weren't able to join us, which is a bummer. I'm a little sad about this. But with that said, everybody, thank you all so much for watching the Ask Aviator podcast, episode number 45. I appreciate all of you. We'll do this again soon. If you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like on the video. We would really, really love to have your support. Feel free to share, etc. And I will go ahead and share in the chat right now the link to get in here. If you want to come and join us, come hang out, come say hello. You're most welcome. I'll leave this up for as long as I can, and then I will leave. But CT Shoot Flyer says that he's been down to visit twice, and each time he's met and made great new friends. JP Vitulo is joining us. Awesome. Let me turn off the waiting room here. Actually, I'll keep that on for safety. I'm getting to the point, guys, where I need another quarantine haircut. It's going to happen. Let's see. What is up, JP?
What's up, Eric? How are you?
Good, brother. Good to see you.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Indeed, indeed. I'm sorry. I'm texting, which
You're
is
good.
terrible
You're
to
good.
do. But I'm not hosting a show anymore. It's the after show. So let me get everybody in here. There we go. Zoom primary, and let me join to this number right here. I feel like Dave is gonna murder me later for not doing this well. Travis, it'd be great to have you for your training, my friend. Truly. Really, really would love that. Mike Rockwood, thanks for being here. Linda Anderson, thank you. Here's a link again, guys, if you want to join the after show. We are live. We got 3 people in the waiting room. Let me add these guys. Alex Diaz, Bob Garber, Jay Williams, good peoples. Awesome. Bob is a king of after shows. I saw an after show the other day that had like 5 hours of after show, and I think Bob was on the whole thing, at least the first 2.5 hours that I witnessed personally. You guys are welcome to unmute yourself, say hello.
Whoa.
Hello.
Like 25 feet away from you.
I don't even think it's 25 feet. I'm not sure. Oh my goodness. My wife just brought me a beverage.
Guys,
Hey, Bob.
Still live on YouTube.
Yes, you guys told me to stay live on YouTube. That's what the people wanted, so I'm doing it.
We get the people what they want.
The people what they want.
They
Now you
told
got to
you
be
to stay
careful what you
live.
say.
Within reason.
Live for the after show.
I mean, that's what people got really mad at me last week. They were genuinely angry at me for not staying live. So
Do you want a fresh battery?
sure, why not? Or actually, hang on, I can just switch the camera. Watch this. It is after show, so you're getting a
After show lights. Look at that.
look at this. Hi.
That's awesome. She's walking around with a laptop.
She's been watching the show the whole time.
Like
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, everybody. I've got to go, and I've actually been on crutches the last 2 days due to a enormous boil in my stump.
Oh no.
So, yeah, it's working its way out, but I will spare you the details on that.
Ugh.
Brother,
Craig, you're a boss, dude.
I try, brother. Thanks, Nell. Thanks, Eric. Be safe. We'll see you again soon. And
feel like Craig.
I'll be down to wrestle you for that Cosmos there, boss.
yeah. So I've got this Zenit, which is like it's like a flash cruiser in a Vertigo copulated. And it's.
Did you get the motor?
No, I don't have the motor yet. I'm working on the motor. Expected date for Cosmos is September, I think. So we're waiting on that, but I have the trike waiting for it. So
resist the temptation to put it something else.
Well, I'd rather sell it and then buy another one and then sell that and buy another one. That's just me. I had
What?
I had to mute Linda. That was like really loud. So, David Nickerson, good to see you, brother. If anybody wants to join us in the after show, you guys are most welcome. The link is in the chat. Craig, I'm going to send you a text with a crazy idea and see if you're interested.
I love it. A crazy idea. You get more? Linda's got some bad feedback.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, fellas. Thanks, Eric. Nell. Love you guys.
Love
Great
it.
job, Greg.
Everybody else. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
See you, Craig. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Talk to you later, Greg.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Linda. I got to keep you muted because it's super bad feedback.
Linda's all sounds like a robot.
Yeah, it's so weird to have so few people in this. Like when we do our Monday night calls, Eric, you've been on those. There's like 3 pages of people. You just keep clicking over, and there's more and more people.
I tried joining one time, and I had to stop because you're right. It's so many people.
It's fun though, man. You got Google Fiber. You have no excuses.
That's true. I do have Google Fiber. I sense a little bit of jealousy there, buddy.
There's not a little.
It's there. You sense correctly.
It's not a little. It's a lot of jealousy. A lot of jealousy.
Oh, it's nice. I love it.
Where is?
Hey, Eric.
Yes.
How are things going with Vitarazi? Are you guys getting stuff from them yet?
They reopened on Monday.
Does that mean shipping's going to open back up? I'm still waiting on my handy box from January.
We are praying, brother. Like, we are praying. We currently have, I think it's 11 motors. Linda, I got to keep you muted, darling. I'm sorry. Your feedback's crazy. I'm sorry. It's like, yeah, so we have like 11 motors that are stuck in Milan and have been since March 8th. And we ended up shifting all the motors from air shipping from Milan to shipping by sea. And that makes them take a month to get here. But at least now we have them coming, because having nothing is like, it's impossible. And we've shipped out loaner motors to some of the people who bought the motors. Like all the extra motors we had that we were like using in the school that weren't being actively used all the time, we shipped out to the customers, because like Nevada, one of our students, who's an awesome dude, I love him to death, he ordered his motor in February, like February 15th. February 11th. It should have been shipped February 15th. Like that's how we do with Fly Products. They ship on the 15th and the 1st for us, and so they could palletize everything. And it should have been shipped on the 15th or the 1st. It went out on the 8th, got stuck in Milan on the 11th, and they couldn't do anything with it until now. They finally have. Can you mute your microphone yours? Can you mute your microphone?
Otherwise, you're going to echo.
Sorry. We're getting good at this. And you can just talk and they can hear you through this microphone.
No, I just missed you.
Skill. I missed you too. I missed you too a lot. No, so it should have shipped sooner. There was an issue with shipping it, and then that's why, like, I told Nevada, I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'll send you a motor to fly. So we pulled one off the floor and shipped to him, just trying to get something going. But one of the orders was a Polini 250 on a Zenit trike to one of our dealers, and Polini shut down. Polini shut down early. Now everyone's back to work, I believe. But Milan was super hard hit, and Polini's in Milan, so it was very inopportune timing. I was supposed to be flying to Milan April 17th. I should mention that the airfare went from $1,800 to $400.
So tempting.
Yeah,
You can't complain about that.
well, the whole not getting back into the USA thing. If I didn't have kids, we would have gone.
We didn't do it.
Yeah.
Details.
Yeah, stuck in Italy doesn't sound too bad.
I love Italy. We would have done. It would have been Milan for 3 days, down to Vitarazi and Fly Products on the eastern coast for 3 days, and then to Nice to the ozone design lab basically for a few days. That was probably 4 or 5 days because we wanted to actually film like their whole design and testing process. So we actually wanted to go fly with them in Monaco, which I was really excited about because I've been to Monaco. I've spent a week there or 5 days there, and I fell in love with it. And like, I was watching these gulls flying, and I was just like, I want to fly there. Like, I need to fly there. And that didn't happen.
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah, and then we were supposed to go to England to Parajet for 2 or 3 days, and I would have been exhausted, but mainly because Tom from Parajet can outdrink the piss out of me, and that's saying something. It's an achievement. It's dangerous to your liver. But yeah, so it would have been a good time. And like, I really want to go and hang out with Bear Grylls because I want Bear Grylls to write a foreword for my book, like the final version of my book. And so like, there's like this, like, Bear is really good friends with Gilo, who owns Parajet, and I've already told him like, hey, I need an introduction. So like, I was working the system, man. I was all excited about working the system.
Hey,
how many countries have you flown in so far?
Countries, I think it's 7 countries in 26 states, something like that.
Man, you're right up there with Harvey Milne.
No, Harvey has me crushed, dude. I haven't beat on countries, but he has me crushed on states.
Is he in the 30s now?
I think so. He's trying to do North Dakota. This
Bear
next...
is really good with Gilo, who owns Parajet, and I've already told him like, hey, I need to
Oh, Joker, you're there. You go, Joker. You gotta mute the audio on the stream.
Not the only one.
No, you're not the only one.
Gross.
Hey, Eric, the topic came up today about working out. Well, essentially, the guy tore his quad. I had similar issues in my training. You guys ever think of doing sort of a fun and funny, maybe like Aviator workout program that's half serious, but
They did one.
somewhat serious?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They did one.
Oh, there is one out there?
Anyone who's been
Yeah.
through training in the last year has seen one. It's called Bromance. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, they did that.
You guys doing like push-ups on one wheels and stuff?
No, it's really short, and the whole purpose of it was just to have something that. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up. I don't remember if it's.
Wasn't it John who did that?
Yes, and we're redoing it.
Oh, I kind of remember that.
We're
That's when the
redoing it.
whole sprinting thing came out.
The sprinting, stretches, things you can do to try. And I don't normally share this with people who aren't students, but I'll go ahead and send you guys this. So anybody who is looking at training with us, you can kind of get an idea of what we have, the expectation that you need to have for yourself, because it is important. And I want to do more physical fitness stuff. It's on the list. We have some new exercises, new things that we're working on to be able to emphasize strength, because like I wasn't strong. I mean, I lost 22 pounds my first year flying, and it obliterated me. Like physically, it obliterated me. My first few years of teaching, every night I'd come home. Here, let me do this. Every night I'd come home and I'd immediately get in an Epsom salt bath.
Epsom salt bath. Yep. And then you would just lay out on the bed for the rest of the night.
I was a very
Kiting.
present husband and father.
Kiting really works your ass off too, if you haven't done that before.
Yeah, it does.
I kited for I had about 8 hours of kiting before class and thought I was physically fit and stretched and all that stuff. And I still just halfway through, I strained my quad and it really set me back.
Yeah. And then the most common like strain is groin muscles, because especially men, we don't stretch those. Like I started working on.
Unless you're sitting on a subway train.
Correct. And then you get the man spread. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep, the man spread. Yep, there you go.
No, like I've been trying to like touch my toes, and months of work, and I went from like barely reaching past my knees to like I can almost touch my toes. But it just takes practice. It takes an effort.
You have to work at it.
Yeah. Veruza asks says we have a 1-year-old. Do you think it's possible to learn together in the same class? How busy is the typical training day?
Wow.
I think I understand the question. I think the question is that they have a 1-year-old child, and he and his wife would like to learn in the same class.
That's yes. That was
Yeah.
If
They
you,
But the
wanna bring
1-year-old
kid
could
to
fly.
training?
if
The
you,
1-year-old can fly. There's no age requirement in FAR 103, so
there
you're good.
is no age requirement in FAR 103. However, our attorneys brought us a wonderful document from the Supreme
Yeah.
Court. The Supreme Court of Florida last year decided that parents cannot sign away their children's rights to life unless it's abortion.
Interesting.
So basically, if a parent signs a waiver for a paintball park, a trampoline park, skydiving, or paramotor flying, and the child dies, the parent signed away something that they didn't have the right to, which I thought was really interesting. So it's that's why we aren't training people under 18 anymore, because they can't sign it, and their parents can't sign it. So it's like, who has the right? I don't understand it, but thank you, lawyers.
very complicated.
Yeah.
Chicken, egg.
Yeah. So to answer Verza's question, my opinion would be the only way you could train in the same class together with a 1-year-old, which I would love to have you guys flying with your wife. Like, it's been the best thing that we've done aside from with our clothes off. Like, it's been really good.
So Aviator needs a daycare facility on site.
I would just say bring a family
there you go.
member. Not it. Bring a family member. Bring a Vasily. Nice to meet you, my friend. Yeah, bring someone in your family that can watch the kid throughout the day. With a 1-year-old, I don't know if he's nursing, she's nursing. That could be facilitated probably, but what I would encourage, just reach out to Kristen. She's our student liaison. I love JP Vitullo's belly button. This is great. It's so hairy.
Do the truffle shuffle.
This is on YouTube too, isn't it?
It is.
Nope.
Awesome. Forever immortalized.
No, I mean the reality is that we can, if you don't have, he says they don't have any family in the U.S. Maybe it'd be a great time for them to visit. There are we could happily set you up with some incredible sitters. The first week is really intensive. You're there from before sunrise till after sunset for the first week, and
you need to pay attention.
And it's difficult. Like, we have students who bring their dogs, right? And we freaking love dogs. We have multiple shop dogs that hang out. Like, Chris has a dog, AJ has a dog. At one point, AJ had 3 dogs, and as much as we love AJ's 3 dogs, they weren't welcome in the shop because they were disruptive
During training
Yeah.
time.
When there was one dog, she's awesome. Pixel's freaking baller.
Yeah.
She's chill, and she doesn't bark at everything that moves.
Yeah.
But when there were 3, they all barked at everything that moved, and we couldn't have it as part of the training experience because it's our responsibility to you guys, right? Like, it's our responsibility to make sure that you guys had the best experience possible because you're investing in this. You're a part of this. Like, that's how we feel about it.
And to avoid sounding like we're comparing children and dogs, you can kennel a dog during the day if need be. A child, not so much.
And
you can, but it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
Well, we actually do have some great kennels in the area. So if you're bringing a dog, we can help you. But if you're bringing a child, we can put you in touch with a really wonderful caregiver, someone that's helped our family that we trust, which we are extremely untrusting. So that's saying something. All right, PPG Pirates in here. I just want to say, bruh, I sent you the link an hour and a half ago to join the call. And I understand that you grow not pot for a living, but maybe you could have hung out with us. I don't know. Brooke's not going to talk to us.
The link. I'm sorry.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, I've been here the whole time. You can hear me.
Kind of halfway. Are you currently on a 5-gallon bucket? I'm just curious.
No.
For those of you guys who don't recognize Brooke was the star of a preppers or something show, and there's a great scene of him that he featured in his training to help the other students fall in love with him, and that was of him dropping a deuce in a 5-gallon bucket. It was really it was
Classic.
a powerful moment.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the moment we became family.
That was on family television, by the way.
Oh my god. Oh, good Lord. Vasily asked another question. He said, "That's fair. Thank you guys. How are you guys teaching in this quarantine environment?" So it's actually been a lot of work. Like, frankly, like it's been a lot of work. We are currently meeting with the class 3 weeks before class, 2 to 3 weeks before class, to explain what our requirements are. So the requirements right now are, even though Florida's lifting their quarantine and non-essential businesses can operate, we are considered essential, but we shut down anyway just because of the safety of our instructors and the safety of our students was really important to us. We started back on May 2nd with a conversation we had 2.5 or 3 weeks beforehand with all the students on Zoom. It was recorded. We shared it with everybody after the fact. And long story short, we said you have to do a 2-week quarantine. So you have to be completely separated from society for 2 weeks ahead of time. You have to lodge in some place where you're not going to have interaction with other people. So like you can't stay at an Airbnb with other humans. You can stay in one that doesn't have anybody else, or you can stay in the class housing, because like 2 of our instructors have houses that they rent out. You can stay in an RV on site. We're going to provide all the meals. So there's no restaurants. There's no anything else in it. We're doing it for $25 a day. We're not doing it. We a couple of our instructors' girlfriends happen to be incredibly talented people and business owners, and they put together, look at the size of that frog. Holy crap. Yep. There's like a frog that's about this long on our window. Yep. It's a Cuban city frog. They're terrible. So they're doing food every day. They're charging $25 for 3 meals a day. I flew up to Denellen yesterday. I'm the only person that's allowed in the facility that's not a student or an instructor, and only because we haven't broken quarantine in 7 weeks. So like they felt safe with me, but I got there and it was bizarre, guys. It was, oh my gosh, it was so weird. I get out of the airplane and like I'm a people person. Like I hang out with people and I like people, especially when they're my students. Like I feel so much love for every student. Like I feel so much appreciation for the fact that like they signed on for this and they believe in this. So I was really excited because we hadn't seen new students in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, wow, yeah. 7 weeks. Yeah. So like I get there, jump out of the airplane, grab my coffee cup, put it on the ground. This guy walks up. He's wearing a mask. We got Aviator masks made. So like we got masks for every student. So they had plenty.
Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. Sorry.
I want to hear more. So I get out and I'm like, hey, what's your name? He's like, Quentin. And I'm like, what's up, Quentin? How you doing? I reach out to shake his hand. He's like, sorry, we only do the elbow bump here. And it was so sad because like I wanted the handshake hug, because like that's what I do with students. It's like welcome, thank you for being part of our family, thank you for like trusting that what we do is good, and like you read the reviews, you saw what we do, you believe in us. Like I'm really honored, and I got the handshake by elbow, and it was really sad.
Hey.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like we asked them 2.5 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, we asked them if they would be willing to respect their other students and respect the instructors, because these instructors are taking a risk and these other students are taking a risk. And we thought it was really important to really emphasize the additional safety measures, even though like most of the students aren't at risk. We do have one student who's almost 70, and we encouraged him to cancel and move to a later date with no cost to him. We're like, hey, like there's no reason, you don't have to come, right? Like we'll move you to a later date. We want to make sure we keep you safe. And he was like, I'm coming. And I met him yesterday. He was super, super awesome guy. It's like, you know, but that's long story short, Vasily, that's how we're doing it. It's a lot of extra work. It's really weird. It's extraordinarily hot to wear a mask all day. I wear a mask that we've got giant things of hand sanitizer. I bought 20 bottles of hand sanitizer from my buddy's brewery in California, Hangar 24 Brewing. And they hopefully will arrive this week for our class in Lake Wales. We actually put a plastic muff over the microphone of all the helmets, and it gets Lysoled after every person changes over. So like we're doing everything we possibly can to try to continue carrying on the love we have for this, while at the same time keeping students safe, instructors safe, and really going above and beyond. Like that's the thing for us. Like we want to be above and beyond. We want to be way beyond what people's expectations are. Because at the moment, and we said this in their early call, like the moment that someone shows up, and they're getting their temperature taken every morning. So just like a Chinese worker in a factory, they get the temperature taken every morning. If they show up and they have a temperature, the whole class gets shut down, and that hurts everyone. So we're really working to try to protect everyone we can. Anyway, I feel like I should ask somebody a question so I don't have to talk anymore.
Yes, because you hate talking.
I was just gonna. The neck buffs that you guys have, like we're required to wear something over our face at work. It doesn't necessarily have to be an N95 or anything. And the Aviator neck buffs that we wear when it's cold out are perfect. I was wearing mine at work today, so
it's really funny. My dad, early on in this, like the first week of like it's a pandemic, things are going wrong. My dad's going to the bank, and he walks into the bank wearing a hat and a neck buff up to his eyes, and he's like, "I got to realize one of my lifelong dreams."
We were saying something similar, like walking to the liquor store. It's like, how often are you going to go to a liquor store wearing a mask and
right?
not end up in handcuffs?
It's kind of amazing. I'm honestly, I'm a little bit like, because we haven't really left the house. I do need a trip to the liquor store. I have had to resort to scotch, guys. Like life is tough. I'm out of bourbon.
What do you mean resort?
So I was always a Scotch guy. I was a Scotch guy for many years, and in fact, this is actually kind of an ironic story. And I don't like talking. I'm gonna get off this call and be so exhausted I can't freaking function, you jerks. So I drank a lot of Scotch. I had a pretty successful business. I fell in love with Lagavulin 25, and that was my drinking Scotch. And like it is the most delightful. What is that? I can't see what it is. What is it, Joker?
It's kind of dark in here, isn't it? Let's see.
The problem is I have the screen set up so I can't
I'll just tell you.
See up close. Let me
it's
see.
A Glen Morangi. It's a 18-year special edition.
Very nice. Very nice.
It was very good.
It was very good. Past tense.
Yeah, it's all gone now.
I love it.
I remember part of the night.
No, so we I started off as a Scotch guy, and then I started Aviator. And this funny thing happens when you take your income and you cut it by 6,000%. And I know Bob's got my book, and a couple of you guys may have read it, but like we got put on freaking food stamps at one point. We were spending $24 a week on food for 3 people, and then 4 people. We got really good at fancy ramen. So like I went from Lagavulin 25, which is not exactly cheap, and still my favorite Scotch, to Clan Macallan $14 plastic handles of Scotch. And you want to talk about a hangover maker? So I switched to bourbon because Jim Beam is way better than Clan Macallan. And so I found a real taste for bourbon, and I love bourbon now. And you get me a Woodford Double Oaked, and I will be the happiest man alive. Or Jack Daniel's Single Barrel, that's good too. And Knob Creek is kind of my go-to right now because it's Jim Beam is still one of my go-tos. I'm not gonna lie because it's cheap. And if any of you guys haven't done this yet, I'm gonna show it.
Oh,
it's happening.
Eric, you gotta try 1792. It's inexpensive and very good. And by the way, anybody who hasn't bought this, buy this book. It's excellent.
Thanks, Bob. So Bob, I was watching our Paramotor Nation After Dark show, or the After show, whatever it was, and you were talking about, you and Andrew Finnegan and a few others were talking about me, which is always awkward to listen to someone talk about yourself. And apparently you and I had a conversation, and you weren't sure if you were pissed off at me or loved me at the end of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you get to be. It took a little while to sink in, and it's like, you know what? Damn it, he's right. I gotta you know.
Well, I'm grateful, I guess. So hang on, I'm gonna showcase my secrets. So this, which is tough to see, this is a whatever you call these things, decanter, full of oak staves. You can buy them on Amazon for about $5 for toasted oak staves. You pour cheap, crappy whiskey in this. You give it a week, and it tastes really good. Oh, I got the wrong bottle. This is an oak bottle. These are much more expensive, way more expensive. They're like $100. Don't recommend it because it's too much money. And they break. Yeah, it was a gift. Then they break. Thanks, baby. They break pretty easily, but it's a toasted oak bottle, so it's just like re-barreling something. So a week in this, or a week on staves, and suddenly you have something that was cheap that tastes not cheap. I'll link you guys some staves, because like the staves are actually, they're pretty darn good. Bubba Frost says my mic is really low. Sorry, Bubba. My apologies, buddy. I'll turn it back up. So anyway, that's my secret to drinking cheap liquor and still enjoying it.
And there's a brewer that I follow on YouTube, and he says use it. They make apparently little coils of that, and they're supposed to be outstanding. I don't know. Never tried it, but I may.
That's exactly what I do. It's the American Oak Infusion Spirals Heavy Toasted. I'm linking it in the chat right now. It actually works really well, and it sounds silly, but like if you're in a position like we are, we're still a startup business that's pouring everything back into the business. I'm not going to go out and buy a $70 bottle of whiskey or a $400 bottle of whiskey. I'm going to go buy a $16 handle and make it taste good. Dag nabbit.
Yeah, we splurge if we buy a 32 bottle, so.
Joker, what's your story, man? You're hiding.
Sorry, I was watching something quick. My story is I'm getting ready to start out. I think like a lot of other people, I started watching Tucker and found you guys, and I trust him. And I've kind of like snuck around in the background, just kind of creeping on you guys. But I like what I see, so I'm definitely going to go with you guys. It's just a matter of I just started a new career, and it's going to be really difficult for me to take off 8+ days for training.
That makes sense.
Tucker, the gateway drug.
He kind of is. Like I love him to death, and like I always say, he's my son because he calls me mom, and it kind of fits, you know. But hey, I'll do with it as I can, right?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking at like the next 6 months probably.
Awesome.
I'm getting ready to move probably to North Carolina, so I'll be a lot closer to you guys.
You're in Iowa now, I saw in the chat?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Where are you in Iowa?
Eastern side, Quad Cities.
Okay.
It's called Davenport.
Yeah, I know Davenport well. I used to spend a lot of time in Iowa, ironically enough. I actually have like a deep love of Iowa, which is a weird thing to say probably, but like I really love Iowa. I had really close friends in in Des Moines, and then I had a friend named Bob Ellingsworth, I think was his name. This is high school, and before I broke my head open. Bob ran a place called the Aircraft Superstore right off the highway, and he would lend me an airplane every time I went to visit. That makes him a good friend. One time,
good friend.
I took one of his airplanes that he lent me. It was the first trip out there that I got to borrow an airplane. I was 18 or 19, I guess I was 18, and it was a T-Bird 2 with a 582. So 65 horse motor, lightweight, 2-place, ultralight. And I flew it. And in Iowa, they have these things we don't have in Florida, which are called rivers. And I've always, watched and read about bush pilots flying down rivers and landing on gravel beds, and I was like, that's so baller, and like, I'm gonna like, what word would I use when I was 18? Like, that's so fetch, maybe. Like that was probably a little more time sensitive.
I didn't know you at that point. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, so I'm flying down the river, and like it's snaking around, and I am just carving this airplane in a way it was never designed to be flown. Like, never in a million years was this airplane designed to be flown the way I flew it. But I was 18. I was fearless. And I see a freaking sandbar.
Right, of course.
And I'm like, there's a sandbar. I'm going to land on a sandbar. I'm going to be a bush pilot. Like, this is going to be the best thing ever. And I was so excited. I was like,
youth.
oh man. Yeah, exactly. So it was like, there was a gravel bar on the outside with like pretty big rocks, like maybe, 18 inches to 36 inches around. And then there was this sandbar, and I'm like, sick. And it was a tailwheel airplane, and it didn't have big tires on it or anything, but it's a sandbar. Like, I know sandbars. I grew up in Florida. My parents had a house on an island, like that was like deserted island thing that had like low tides, and sandbars are really hard and firm, and like, no worries. Like, I got this. It was a silt bar.
So are you talking about like one of those bush planes?
No, not a bush plane. No, not a bush plane.
What was it?
It was a T-Bird 2. If you look up Tierra, Tierra 2, T-Bird 2, I will find one for you.
Oh, that goes back a ways.
Yeah. So this was the more modern variant of it, but
got it.
It's a tailwheel ultralight trainer, which I was certified to fly in. It did not have big tires.
You thought you could land that on a sandbar in a river?
Well, I mean, I could land it because I had a T-Bird 2 that I was teaching at the time. I could land a T-Bird 2 in 80 feet, 100 feet. Like, and it was a 300-foot long sandbar. Like, this is no issue, right? Except that it wasn't a sandbar.
Oh,
it was
a gravel.
It was a silt
gravel.
bar. It was a silt bar. So the moment I touch down, everything's fine. The moment I slow down, I'm buried over the axles.
Jeez.
Like, and luckily I made the decision. Like,
Yeah, the tire.
Right, you need the big bush tires because that's why they cost so much money. Is you need the bush tires. So I'm in this airplane. And of course, the airplane weighs like 370 pounds or whatever it is, and I'm at this point I'm 18 years old. I am somewhere between my turning 18 weight of 136 pounds and my turning 19 weight of 185 pounds. So I'm 6'4", freaking beanpole, and I do the logical thing that you do when you stick an airplane in the middle of a river that you don't own, and that was bounce up and down in the seat and hold full power and manipulate the controls until you can see if you can make it move as much as you could possibly make it move. And I got the thing to finally move, and I just kept bouncing. I bounced this thing across like 120 feet of the silt bar until I got to the rocks, and I got it off the ground at about half of stall speed. I swear I know it's not actually a scientific possibility. Sorry, Eric. But like I got it off the ground about 4 feet before the water, and just held it off a stall, no ailerons, rudder and elevator only, until I got up to speed. And that's still not the dumbest thing I've done in an airplane. And that, my friends, is why I focus so much on safety at Aviator, because I've done all the dumb stuff, so you don't have to.
See, what I love is watching the bush pilots come in, and they'll touch the water about 50 feet before the little sandbar they want to land in to bleed off the speed, and then they can stop on a dime when they get there. It's nuts.
That scares the living snot out of me. Like, I'm building a bush plane. I've flown bush planes. I've skied on water since I was 16 in airplanes, but doing it so slow freaks me out. And like, I totally respect everyone who does it. My buddy Bobby is, if you guys want to look up Bobby Breeden, I'm putting his name in the chat. Bobby was I think 6-time world champion STOL pilot at the Valdez. Started when he was 17 and then up till he stopped doing it when he went to the airlines. Bobby is incredible. If you look at Bobby's flying, like almost all of his videos have gone super viral. Like he's just this supernaturally talented pilot, and he does that kind of thing, and it freaks me out. And one day he came down to visit when he was at school at Embry-Riddle. He came down to visit us, and he flew in, and he lands super short, and it's blowing like 10, 12 miles an hour. And I was flying around when he came in. And I came in and I landed. And I just landed on one foot and held the other foot up like a flamingo. And stood there, looked at him, and I kind of gave him the finger. I was like, I got you, boo. And then we had the worst tandem flight ever. We had a strap come loose and go in the prop on this piece of crap machine. And then we tried to take off again. And we ran into this giant pond. Like it was like a comedy of errors, and I felt so terrible. And then he came back and he spent the night at our house, and he starts telling stories. And Bobby's 23 years old at the time, 22, 23. And he starts telling these stories, and I looked at Nell and I said, I don't feel bad anymore. Like, because I felt really bad. Like we ran into a pond, man. Like we were like trying to get off the ground in the middle of this cattle field. And like this pond was covered up with grass. You couldn't see it. And it was like waist deep. And we had to abort and like walk back. And it was really bad. And he starts telling a story about landing a Super Cub, he and his dad on this gravel bar in Alaska where his dad lives. And they get out of the airplane. They're hanging out. They're taking pictures. And then an iceberg calves in the river. And they get hit with a tidal wave that impacts with such strength that he gets river silt packed into his ear so badly it took years for him to expel it.
Tidal wave?
The airplane's a total loss. It was like a 15-foot wave over the entire thing. They should have died. Right? Like, we did stuff that was like annoying and kind of funny. And like, he should have died from an iceberg. Like, he's a Titanic survivor, right? Like,
oh my god.
It was very
like one of those
humorous.
fish stories.
Yeah, and that was one of like 10 stories. It was. I didn't feel bad anymore. But it made me want a bush plane, which is why I kind of got half of a bush plane now.
You need your spy too.
Sold.
Yep. Oh man. Well, guys, I'm gonna shut down the stream. I'm gonna thank everybody for being here. You guys are welcome to keep talking.
Eric. I sent you a text, by the way.
You sent me a text?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw your text. I ignored your text.
Oh.
I just want to. I'll share my screen really quick because he's a terrible person. This is the text I get from Eric Sheridan. Thanks, Google Fi. Appreciate you.
Thanks for nothing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but you have to live in Kansas, so.
True. And the flying weather hasn't been great for months, so.
Oh.
It
Yeah,
sucks.
these things happen. Oh, man. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out. To everybody on the stream, much love. I'll see you guys hopefully next week. We'll probably do another one of these or something different. I have no idea. We'll see what happens. But Christine, Brandon, Scott, Bubba, thank you guys for being here. Same to you, Kenneth. I appreciate that you like bourbon too. At least I sure hope you do. To JP, Bob Carver, always a pleasure. Eric Sheridan, screw off. Christopher Albright. I can't.
I'm running out of hats, man.
I can't imagine seeing you without a hat. It's freaking me out, man.
Didn't recognize you.
I'm Travis, by the way.
Travis, nice to meet you.
I'm the
Nice to meet you, Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis.
We got to get you in the air.
And Travis, please hang out and talk to these guys. Let me get off this thing so that you can have a genuine conversation. You got Eric, Dave, and Chris who've all been through our training. JP who's been through very similar stuff and has been to our facilities. Talk to them honestly about what the experience was like, because we have nothing to hide. We want to share what our reality is, and I would love for you to have that experience. So
I'm sold. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of trying to get the time off.
Well, now we're going to get you sold faster because you and Bob Garber need to come down here. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Let's get me.
Pleasure meeting you, Travis. I'll see everyone here next week. Thanks for watching and listening to episode number 45. See y'all.